All right, we are live on YouTube, and today we're going to be discussing quickly bouncing back from any crisis, including the current global one. So stick around for all of that and much, much more that's coming right. Live from Northern California, welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And if this is your first time here, and most importantly, you are open to suggestions and change, please consider subscribing and then banging that bell. And after you bang that bell, when that pop-up box pops up, make sure you select all notifications, because that way you won't miss a single thing. You will not miss anything when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. And also make sure on your smartphone, your tablet, your iPhone, your Android, or anywhere that you have the YouTube app installed on, you must also make sure that the YouTube app is set to receive those notifications at a device level. Do all of that exactly as I just stated, and you are all set to go. That's all it takes. It's pretty simple, right? Very simple, right? One of the most simple things you can do. All right. Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to the show. It is 6:18 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 3:18 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time in my neck of the woods. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area here in Northern California, San Mateo County and Redwood City to be exact, only 22 minutes south of the San Bruno YouTube headquarters. Shout out to everyone out there at YouTube that's done a fantastic job of keeping this company going throughout this pandemic. I know how difficult it has been to keep your employees safe, the YouTube/Google employees, because we all know Google owns YouTube, and to have jobs for them to do from home safely and to keep the platform going. I have to say that with the exception of a few minor glitches early on, which was taking videos 12 hours to process, which has now been fixed, YouTube has pretty much continued to run this company flawlessly. It's just incredible at how they've, kept things going throughout one of the most, one of the biggest crises that we've dealt with, at least since I've been alive, for the last 46 years. So shout out to everyone at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California, and even Google headquarters, which is 15 minutes, 15 minutes south of where I'm at, in Mountain View, California. All right, great work. I love it. Hey, Queen, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. Queen says smash the like button for Eli. Glad to have you on board here with us today, Queen. Now, I want to start off by mentioning, folks, that today I released my second members only video. I made a promise to all of my members that starting yesterday, I'm going to be doing daily, if not almost daily, motivational videos. I'm going to be sharing some tips and tricks on how to get yourself on track to accomplish whatever it is that your heart desires. This is going to be exclusive to members only, above and beyond what I do out here publicly. And the first two videos I've done, the one I did yesterday, let me just open up that folder where that's at. Give me just a second here. Yesterday, our motivational video, Stupid. That was yesterday's video. And today's video is titled, Being Shy is Temporary. Easily fix this to accomplish anything. Now, these videos, folks, are going to typically be 10 minutes or less for the most part. Sometimes they might be a little bit longer, but I basically want to give my members almost daily, if not daily, motivational, inspirational videos that are going to help you get back on track, as quickly as possible. Now, I've been releasing these videos in the late morning, early afternoon. But what I'm going to start doing next week, I'm hoping I can get this started by next week. I'm just trying to get everything all situated, is I'm going to pre-record these videos the night before and then schedule them to be released for members at 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific time. And if you're in a different country, you can figure out the time difference. But, I'm in the U.S., so I have to primarily target my my brand and my videos to people in the U.S., but I love everyone. So if you're in another country, such as the UK, Australia, etc., Now, if you're in Canada, you're in North America, so the time zones are exactly the same. But if you're in another country where the time zones are different, just figure that out on your own and consider becoming a member because I'm going to be putting out a lot more content to members only. I'm also looking to create the exclusive Coach Eli Clan behind the scenes, where you will get behind the scenes information and updates to other things that public viewers will not get. Now, if you want to join and become a member, all of my packages will get you exactly the same thing. I have the $4.99, $9.99, $24.99, $49.99, and $99.99 Superfan packages, which again will get you the exact same thing. Will get you these, daily or almost daily motivational videos and occasional live streams when I start doing them for members only. Now, I'm leaving it up to you how much you want to sponsor the channel. Whether you purchase the, $4.99 per month, channel membership / sponsorship, or the $99.99 or anyone in between, you're going to get exactly the same thing. I'm just leaving it up to you how much you feel you value the content here and how much you want to donate to further see the success of this channel. So that's that. All you have to do to join is, it's easier to join from a laptop or a desktop. If you're on an iPhone, the join button does not show. I believe if you're on Android, it will show. You can actually make your purchase, I believe, through your Android. But the easiest way to do it is to get on your laptop or desktop, go to the home page of my channel, youtube.com/C/A Grip on Life. And then just click the join button and just follow the prompts from there. So that is that. Now that we have that out of the way, how do you folks like the background here today? I chose this background, folks, because I know many of you have been dealing with quite a lot since this coronavirus pandemic hit us. Many of you have lost your jobs, or you've been furloughed, meaning your hours have been cut back, or you've been forced to work from home. And even if you're still getting paid the same and you're working the same hours, you're missing the social interaction with people. And I've talked to many of my friends and many other people out here on YouTube, and they're asking me, Eli, how are you dealing with this crisis? How are you dealing with this pandemic? It seems to not be affecting you because you continue to do exactly the same things you've always done. And that's the truth of the matter. I have not changed my lifestyle one bit, with the exception of, I do like to go out to dinner with friends, and I do like to go hiking with friends whenever I get a chance. But even the people that I typically will go hiking with, or, my friends that I'll go to dinner with, etc., they are in such fear of this that they're not even willing to go out now that things have started to open back up. A lot of the restaurants in my area here in the Bay Area in Northern California have started to open up for dining in instead of just takeout, which was part of the restriction until this point. They started reopening stuff back last week. A lot of our hiking trails here remained open during the pandemic. They were just requesting people to, wear masks, which is fine, not a big deal. You should be wearing that mask and take the precaution, in any way possible. But, my park's been open. Parks have still been open. Some parks have closed their parking lots, such as mine here in Redwood City at Red Morton Park. But it has not affected me one way or another. And why has it not affected me one way or another? Because I have not allowed it to affect me one way or another. And that's pretty much, the message I want to put out here today, folks. Now, unless we get a bunch of people coming in here and asking a bunch of questions, I don't plan on being here too terribly long. This may only take another half hour or 45 minutes to go through. But what I want to do is share some of my personal experiences regarding some traumatic events that I went through, events that would be considered a crisis, right? Such as the coronavirus pandemic. I just explained how I'm handling that. It's up to you as an individual how you want to handle things. But I'm going to explain certain events I've been through in my life that many people would consider those events to be an event that they're going through a crisis on. So where do I start? Which aspect do I start? Let me mention another situation and mention to you folks how you can also quickly bounce back. Again, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, you can quickly bounce back as long as you're in the right mindset. It's up to you how quickly you want to bounce back or how much you want to let things affect you. Hey, Rick Zeller's in the house. Hey, Rick, how you doing? Nice to see you too, man. Rick, welcome to the show. I'm just going to make you aware that I've been doing this YouTube thing for quite a while now, the coaching, and there are a lot of trolls and haters out here on YouTube that may try to contact you to say nasty things about me and show you past videos of me from years ago where, I got into some heated conversations with people. I would just ignore those people. For the most part, we've removed most, if not all, the drama from this channel. But I'm just making you aware, Rick, that, just for showing up here, my trolls and haters may look you up, may try to call you, may try to email you, and send all of this crazy information. And I've known you for quite a long time, Rick, and it's great to see you as well. I know we need to catch up. I know up until the last few weeks or so, I had not been on Facebook for over a year. And the reason is because a lot of these trolls and haters were going onto my Facebook and taking all my stuff and then, creating content out of it. And I had to kind of lock down my Facebook and put it to, put things to friends only and make some things private. But recently I started to open it back up, and I'm really glad to be back. And I know we've known each other for a long time, so not a worry. I appreciate it, man. And we will definitely catch up soon. I plan on coming out to visit, the Sacramento area at some point over the next month or two. And when I do, I will definitely touch base with you, and I'll take you out to lunch, maybe you and your wife. It'd be great to catch up and, who knows, see what we could possibly work on. I know we've tried to work on some things in the past, but I've gone a different route. I really enjoy the life coaching. I'm definitely trying to transition away from insurance and do this full time. So that's, where my passion is at. But it's great to have you here, and I greatly appreciate it. And Rick, I've put a lot of time and effort to, create a studio where, I can create high quality content. And I have great lighting in here. I have a green screen, nice microphone, a nice real camera. And about a year ago, my area, AT&T, put fiber. So I have fiber internet, 1,000 up and 1,000 down for $80 per month. So, I've been working very hard to, get this channel off the ground. And recently we hit 4,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone that's been a part of this channel. And we're just looking to move forward. But I just wanted to catch you up, Rick. Again, not trying to avoid you or anyone, but I had to, do a lot of self-reflecting over the past year or so and really figure out what I want to do, the rest of my life for an income. And what I want to do has to make me feel good, and it has to be my purpose and my passion. I realized that even though I enjoyed selling insurance all this time, and I did well, selling insurance, it's not my passion. It's not what I want to be remembered for. I want to be remembered for helping people, reach their goals, dreams, and aspirations. And so that is that. But I appreciate you, Rick. I have known you for a long time, so not a worry. Yeah, I'm just raising awareness, man. That's all. We have all different walks of life in this world, especially out here on YouTube. It's a public platform. It's owned by Google. There are over 2 billion people globally on this platform, and people create fake accounts and they say stupid shit. You know what I mean? And it's just the way it goes. But it's a great pleasure to have you here, and I will reach out to you very soon and touch base with you. So anyway, one of the other examples, folks, I want to mention regarding quickly bouncing back from any crisis. And this is one thing that hit me pretty hard. It was one of the hardest hitting things that I had to deal with in my life, and that was the death of my father a little over 11 years ago. Last month was the 11-year anniversary regarding the death of my father. And I remember when that dreaded day where my father passed away. It was completely unexpected. My father had some health issues. He was on a lot of medication. He had gained a lot of weight. And in my opinion, I love my father. I don't want to talk smack about my dead father, but he really wasn't taking care of himself as best as he possibly could have. And whenever I'd spend time with my mother and my father, my mother, would buy these big Costco pizzas for my dad, and my dad would take 4 or 5 big pieces, and I'm like, oh man, this is just not good. And the guy had diabetes and all of that. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You can't tell your father, I try to tell my dad, you got to stop eating this crap, Dad. I don't want to see you die, right? How the hell do you say that? I'm not his father. He's my father, right? But anyway, so I remember the day where it happened. My father was the cantor of our Greek Orthodox Church here in the Bay Area, here in San Mateo County. And he was preparing for an Easter liturgy. It was the week before Easter, I believe is when it was. And, the week before Easter, there's a liturgy every single day at the church. And my dad, what he would do is, there was a balcony at the back of the church that would face down towards the priest that was on pretty much the stage. And between my father and the priest, they would sing the hymns, back and forth together. Well, there's a bench, a pew bench right behind where my father would stand up to chant once the liturgy would start. And I remember the day when I got the call from my mother, and she said, your father passed away. And he passed away at the church. I was not at that liturgy. Apparently, what was told to us is that he basically sat down and he had, shrugged his head over his shoulder like he was taking a nap, and he never woke up. And I remember that night, I had a wonderful girlfriend back then, and she was very supportive. She was with me. I didn't even want to go to the hospital and meet my family there, not because I didn't want to be there for my family. I just didn't want to see my father dead. I didn't want to see my father dead. I don't deal well with death. That's one thing I don't deal well with. But I've learned how to deal with it. And, I have to thank my girlfriend back in those days for supporting me and pushing me to go there. And when I got there, I was talking with the doctor, and the doctor basically said his time just came. His heart just gave out. It's kind of like a battery that runs out of juice. There's only so much juice in the battery, and your father used up all his juice. His heart was working harder because he, had a lot of complications. And that's why, folks, that's why you got to take care of yourselves. You got to be like a well-oiled machine. Because the less stress you put on your heart, the longer you're going to live, the longer your battery is going to last. And that's what happened. And after that night, and I'll tell you folks, I don't care what any man says out there, even to us very strong men that think we don't need a woman, and, to you, modern day men that don't trust women, right? Because of the way the modern world is. Let me tell you something. If it wasn't for my girlfriend during that time to be there for me and to console me, it would have been a lot harder to work through. Doesn't mean I'm any less of a man. Doesn't mean I'm not strong. It's just one of those things that you don't expect. And I don't care how strong of a dude you are, it's going to hurt. My father was my savior, my mentor. He's the one that taught me everything I know here today, right? So how did I bounce back from that? It was during those days where I was new to the insurance business, and I couldn't allow it to affect me from not making the money I needed to make to be able to replace my income I was making in the corporate world. I pretty much had no choice. I had to keep moving forward and, survive, right? So I just sat there that night with my girlfriend, talked it out. And the very next morning I got up and I said, you know what? I'm going to embrace the death of my father. I'm not going to let it affect me or get to me, because that's not what my father would have wanted me to do. My father would have wanted me to go on and carry on the legacy that he's left behind. And because of that, that's what motivated me to work through this so quickly. Again, I've never gotten over the death of my father. I never will. But you have to bounce back from it and not let it get to you and embrace it instead of let it bring you down. You know what I mean? So that's another, example of a crisis that's unexpected in your life, that could set you back if you allow it to set you back. Again, my father would have never wanted me to mourn and give up what I've been building and making something out of myself to sit there and mourn at his death. He would rather have me embrace his death and move forward, because that's what my father would want. He wouldn't want his death to stop me, his son, from accomplishing the greatness I want to accomplish. Now, a lot of people, are not able to handle it that way. And, when this happened, I was already in my mid-30s. So, what was I, 34, 35? Right? I was like 35, I believe. And, I had enough experiences in life. I had been through other traumatic experiences. I already had lost my grandma and grandpa on my father's side. My father's parents passed away the previous, 10 to 15 years before that when I was younger. And I went through that. And, because of that, I started to, learn how to work through those things. But for some people, if they lose their father or mother at an early age, they haven't had enough experience to understand how to work through that. So I can understand that. And that's where I can come into play. If any one of you are going through something like that, especially at a younger age where you don't have the experience to know how to handle it properly and to move forward, through it and quickly bounce back, then I can definitely help you out. And you can reach out to me privately regarding that. Just go below in the description, Coach Eli at coacheli.com. You can also go to my website, coacheli.com, and see how you can work with me so I can help you out and bounce back from any crisis to help you get a better grip on your life. So that's another example. Another example is, relationships that I've been through or you folks may have, been through. I'm going to speak from the male perspective because obviously I am a man, and, I can only speak on myself, right? Now, when it comes to relationships, as I've said in the past, men and women are biologically different. Women are naturally more emotional each and every day, all the time, from what I've said in the past, and this is true, women respond to everything emotionally based on how they're feeling in the present moment. They may be happy with you currently at this very present moment, and then 2 seconds later, they might start getting mad at you, even if you did nothing wrong, just because the wind blew in the wrong direction. I know it sounds stupid, but that's how it is. And, as a man, you have to understand that and learn to understand that. I can help you, understand that as well if you want to work with me. But I'm only stating that because that's how men and women are biologically different. Women are emotional all day, every day based on how they're feeling in the present moment. And men are supposed to be, stronger emotionally. We're supposed to look at things logically first. And then, if we are going to shed some emotion, it's going to be after we logically process what's currently happening. So in essence, more often than not, if you're a real, true, strong man, masculine man, you're not going to react to things immediately, such as women naturally do, because we are biologically different than women. But even with that being said, when it comes to relationships, and when a man and woman are both truly in love and are emotionally invested in each other, they're emotionally attached to each other. Once that emotional attachment happens, even for a man, if a woman breaks up with him or the relationship ends for any reason and the man didn't want it to end, it's going to affect us emotionally. It's going to affect us extremely emotionally. And in many cases, it may get us to react or overreact in ways that are out of our natural essence of being strong and thinking about things logically. Instead, we sometimes in that situation will respond emotionally, which is not part of our natural essence in the way we're supposed to handle things, right? Now, I share this because I've had some great relationships with some good women that I was hoping they would go the distance and get married, have kids, and have a family and live happily ever after. But for one reason or another, when those relationships haven't worked out in the past, it did hurt me. It did affect me. So how did I work through it? How have I learned to work through that? Well, if we stem back to my younger days, when I went through my first breakup with my high school sweetheart, it took me quite a long time to get through that. It took me at least a year to be able to move forward to the point of where I opened myself up to meeting other women. And it took me even an extra year after that to get into a relationship. So basically, it took me 2 years, right? Because that was my first experience. When you fall in love for the first time, you're going to think that this is your soulmate. Like, I'm in love. I'm with my high school sweetheart. She's a cheerleader. She's a beautiful woman. She has a great personality. We have a lot of fun. The romance is great. Like, nothing could go wrong. You don't think about what could go wrong at that point. And then when it happens and she breaks up with you because she wants to, move off to college and leave her options open, even if it's for a reason that doesn't, that even if it's for a reason that has nothing to do with the type of person you are or how, good or bad the relationship was, she's moving on. In essence, she's detaching herself from you emotionally, and you're still left there emotionally attached, wondering what the hell just happened, right? At that age, you're not going to understand, what happened. So, it's going to take you longer to work through that. As I've gotten older, through my experiences and the patterns I've seen, I've learned to better handle these situations. So if I get into a relationship with a woman now, like my ex Dana, for example, we broke up almost 2 years ago. She broke it off with me. I have nothing bad to say about her, like I've said all along. Some things happened. I used to run a former YouTube channel. I was trolled severely. She was a part of that channel, and they attacked her kids. I mean, it was a crazy time, right? But regardless of the reason that we split, regardless of the reason of why we split up, which is what I'm trying to say, the point I'm trying to make is that I was very emotionally attached to her and invested in her because I really cared a lot about her. And she cared a lot about me. And to this day, I honestly feel that she's the most amazing woman I ever met. And I've been able to work through it. I've moved past it. I'll share about that in a second. But that's just how I felt about her. So how long did it take me to, work through this compared to my younger days? It took me maybe 2.5 to 3 months to basically say, okay, I've gotten over this enough. Yeah, I'm still going to think about it. And I still think about it to this day. It's a normal thing, right? But I got over it enough to the point of where I felt I could put myself back out there and start talking to other women and start, seeing where things can go. Now, since that time, I have not been able to find a good woman, but I was able to work through it much more quickly because, I've learned from my past. I've learned that, especially when you get older, you don't want to sit there and waste your time dwelling over why something didn't work out. You want to take that time and move forward and focus on finding somebody that, will work with you and you can work with them and you'll, create a great relationship. But if you sit around and let it get to you, for 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 years, especially when you're 46 years old like me. Next thing you know, you're 51. And I'm not saying you're anywhere near death, but you're closer to death, right? That's the thing. So anyway, that's another experience there, folks. You just have to learn to internally process and understand that sometimes things are not going to go your way. Even if you've done everything right, sometimes things were just not meant to be. And the moment you can start to understand that and process that is the moment where your life is going to change. Does that mean you're not going to have any more frustrating moments? No. Like, I'll be honest with you, like I've been mentioning, for the past, week or so during some other live streams, when it comes to male and female relationship dynamics, I put myself back out there. I am open to finding a good woman, and I've talked to many women. I only want to be with one, but nowadays you got to go through like 100 or 200 bad seeds to find one that may be the right fit. Now, before this new generation with millennials and post-millennials, started really taking over this world, it wasn't as difficult. Back in those days, if we go back 10, 15, 20 years ago, you still had to go through a bunch of bad seeds to find the right one, but it was far fewer. I would go through maybe 9 or 10 bad seeds, and then the 11th person, was a great fit to date, right? But now, because the world has changed, we now also have these smartphones that are attached to our hips. The millennial generation and post-millennial generation, Gen Z, the I generation, they've completely shifted, the focus of relationships, primarily stemming from, how women are looking at relationships nowadays, and how women have been indoctrinated into this culture of feminism, which is great to a certain extent. Women having equal rights and equal pay for equal work. I respect that. But it's gotten to the point of where women are now more pushed into going to college, getting college degrees, and then, they're more pushed towards, getting a career going than getting their relationships going. And then they're told that get your degree now, get in your career, work your way up the corporate ladder, become financially stable, and then worry about your, love life down the road. Worry about having kids and your relationships down the road, right? Well, by the time most women get to the point of where they feel, they're ready for that, it typically takes them until they're in their mid to late 30s. What happens to a woman as she gets into her mid to late 30s? She becomes less fertile. Especially when she hits her early 40s, she becomes far less fertile, right? When is a woman most fertile? In her late teens and early 20s, right? Right? As they get into their 30s, they're still fertile a decent amount. I believe it's like a 30% fertility. I believe before their 30s, it's a 50+% chance of being fertile and being able to conceive. Once you hit 40, that goes from 30% to 5%. And every year after that, I believe it goes down 1%, right? So now, you've got these women in their mid to late 30s that are still technically fertile, right? They've gotten their act together. They have a great job. They're making great money. They've got their life together. They've got their house, their car. Everything's great. Now they're putting themselves out there trying to find Mr. Right. And even if they find Mr. Right has to be open to wanting kids. And even if you both want kids, as a woman gets older, it's harder to conceive, right? So that's what we're up against in this modern world. And the way this ties into the topic is that you've just got to learn to understand, how the modern world is, and you have to learn to accept things for what they are. One of my favorite sayings, folks, is, it is what it is. How can you sit there and argue and fight, something that just is what it is, right? If a woman doesn't want to be with you, no matter how nice she is, I mean, I've talked to many nice women that are attractive, are, sweet and nurturing and just loving women and intelligent women, the full package, right? And then one of the first questions I asked him is, are you married? No, I'm not looking for a relationship right now. Why not? Well, I'm trying to get promoted at work, or I'm going back to school to get a master's degree because I want to get that. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, and this is a woman like that's already in her 30s. I'm like, okay, so do women just not want, to have, the fairy tale anymore? You just have to learn to understand how the modern world is. And more so, I feel it affects men than women. I do feel it affects women as well because, underneath it all, I do believe that women still want to have that special man in their lives. But again, they've been indoctrinated into this, feminist environment of saying, hey, put your relationships on hold, go to college, get a degree, get your job, work your way up, get settled in your career, and then focus on your love life later. Yeah, I could sit here and talk, all day, every day about that. But anyway, let me just check out the chat here real quick. Okay, we're good. How long have we been going for? We've been on for 53 minutes. I'm going to go another 5 or 10 minutes, folks, and I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to keep this a very short show because there aren't a whole lot of questions happening in the chat today. Again, the topic is quickly bounce back from any crisis, including the current global one. Hey, Helmet Boy. Hang on, Queen. Is good. Helmet Boy is good. And Helmet Boy, to be honest with you, I'll check out the show as I'm eating dinner. But to be honest with you, I'm just ignoring everybody. I've moved on. I'm doing my own thing. And I appreciate you being here. I mean, whatever the Buddhism Hotline wants to do is on them. But I will support you guys. I will always support you guys. You guys have become great friends of mine. And I appreciate you and your leader, Jonathan. You're amazing people. But as far as, the person's name you mentioned in the chat, I'm over it, man. Like, I've moved on. I've got my channel memberships here. I have a monetized channel. And although I may not have a lot of people chatting in my chat right now, a lot of people still watch my streams. I still get, a decent amount of views. And I'm working on some other marketing methods. So, dude, I've completely moved past this. And, that's where I'm at. But I appreciate you being here, bro. We should connect soon through Hangouts. And at some point in the near future, we can do an interview. You know when that time is going to be, when we're going to do your interview, bro. And it's going to be awesome. But yeah, I will, is it on Jonathan's, which channel is that going to be on, man? Which channel is it going to be on? Jonathan's channel? Helmet Boy, let me know if you're still around, man. So anyway, folks, before I wrap this up here today, quickly bounce back from any crisis, including the current, global one. It's up to each and every one of you as an individual what you want to allow to set you back and what you don't want to allow to set you back. Now, I understand that, there was some martial law put into place regarding this coronavirus pandemic, but let me be honest with you. Do you really think that the police officers were strictly enforcing it? Or do you think they were more so putting out that martial law as a guideline to try to, reduce people, from going out in places where they shouldn't be, or to basically, if they don't wear a mask, that, they're going to get, cited for it, right? Just his main channel, the interview would be on mine. Okay, dude, I will definitely check it out, man. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you so much. So again, regarding, the martial law for the coronavirus, it was more like a guideline. It's still more like a guideline, just like YouTube has community guidelines, copyright guidelines, and ad-friendly guidelines if you're a monetized channel. That doesn't mean YouTube has to adhere or how do I say this the right way? That doesn't mean that YouTube has to handle, their guidelines very strictly. It means everything is on a case-by-case basis. They're not going to punish someone for making an honest mistake. If you deliberately keep violating guidelines over and over again, you're going to pay. But if you accidentally violate one and they can see that, they're going to give you a warning, or they're just going to kind of let it slide, right? So it's the same thing with the martial law. I really don't think when martial law was put into effect, regarding this pandemic, that it was going to be handled strictly. It's more of a guideline, trying to send out a strong message to people saying that this is very serious. Please, take everything that we're asking you to do into serious consideration. Now, I did wear a mask some of the times. Some of the times I didn't wear a mask. When I would do my live streams on the walking trails, when I do my mobile streams, I have not worn a mask. How the hell am I going to do a stream wearing a mask, right? Like, what if I was wearing a mask? Well, I'm in my own place, so I'm safe, right? But what if I was on a trail doing a mobile stream and I have a microphone here and a mask here? I'd be like, okay, how are you all doing today? Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? This is Eli, right? Uh-huh. All right, I'm out. See you, says Helmet Boy. Thanks for stopping by. Queen Helen Casey says it's all propaganda crap. No, I agree with you, Queen. For the most part, I agree with, how you've been viewing this whole thing. All I'm trying to say is this. There are people out there that are letting this pandemic completely rule their life, and they don't have to. And another thing, people are fearing that they're going to die from this thing. They're fearing that, it's never going to go away. They can never live life the same. Why are you going to live your life in fear, right? How can you enjoy your life living your life in a fearful state all the time? I mean, how much fun is that? Look, this is the way I look at myself, and this is what I'm going to wrap up with here, okay? For myself, like, when my time comes, my time's going to come. I don't know when that is. If it's this pandemic that's going to take me out, then that's what was meant to be. But I'm not going to sit here and stop living my life, fearing that I'm going to die over this pandemic. If it so happens because of it, then that's when my time was meant to be. Only a higher power that I believe to be God knows when my time is, right? So why am I going to sit here and live my life in fear of this? I'm going to do my very best to adhere to the laws and the rules that are being created by the government officials. But I'm also going to continue moving forward with my life in the ways that I've always lived my life. And that's what I suggest to each and every one of you. That's how I suggest each and every one of you to handle any one of these situations, that involve any crisis. You got to bounce back, folks. You can't let these situations kick you down to the point of where you can't live your life or accomplish whatever your heart desires. It's going to put you, into a state of depression, probably even more so than you already are. So why would you want to do that to yourselves? That's that. So that's where I'm going to wrap up this stream here today at 1 hour and 1 minute. All right. So, folks, I don't know. I may be back. I'm not going to do a walking stream today. I'm going to work out at my place again. I may be back for a second brief stream later tonight. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a dancing stream. Does somebody want me to do a dancing stream tonight? A fun stream? Let me know. I can do that. I love doing those motivational streams. I just want to make people feel good, folks. I want to provide as much value for you here as possible. But the most important thing before you can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish in life, whether it's regarding your business or your personal life, you've got to be happy. You've got to feel good about yourself. And part of my methods of coaching people is making you feel good, even by doing some streams every now and then that, get some pumped up music playing out there and doing some dancing with you folks, right? Right. All right. With that being said, I want to thank everyone that was here in the chat. Thank you, Helmet Boy. Thank you, Queen Ellen Casey. And thank you, Rick, for being here. You're phenomenal. Adios, my friend. Talk soon. Got to take a call. All right, bro. I'm getting out of here, too. Thank you very much, Rick. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening, everyone. And I may be back later tonight for another stream. If not, I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. We're out.